Hi, and welcome to Three Questions with MotionPoint. I'm your host, Dominic Ditterbay, and today I have the enormous pleasure of introducing our new Chief Product Officer, Steven Tyler. Steven, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Dom. It's great to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great too. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be on the iconic pink chairs with you, introducing you to the translation and localization industry world. And right off the bat, I'd like to talk to you about the future of it, right? So what are some key trends and technologies that you're noticing that are going to shape the future of our industry?
I mean, it's the rise of the machine.
Right.
And AI coming of age in this industry as it has in every industry, but particularly in this one, since sort of 2016, when sort of Google really led the way into neural machine translation, and as that has evolved, we've now got to the point where the quality being produced out of machine translation is good enough now for a lot of contexts and a lot of jobs. So you're seeing a rise of companies in the space that are taking a MT first approach, do a machine translation for everything, and then deal with the exceptions and that need to be sent for human translation to take it the last mile to fix things the machine didn't do particularly well. And then in more mature companies, you're seeing a similar, that want higher quality. They're still looking and asking the question, how do I get machine translation leveraged in there to bring down the cost of getting that quality so that I can stretch my budget further and do other things. So that's the big inflection point. The last 20 years is changing dramatically versus what's going to come in the next 5 to 10 with regards to the nature of how translation service companies like us combine machine and human capabilities smartly.
Yeah. So with the new acceptance of machine translation in our industry, how do you really feel about how currently the translation vendors that are in the market are aligned to that? Do you think there's a big delta between what they're doing, their business model now, to what these key indicators for the future are showing?
I mean, all of us are in the same boat of trying to figure out how do we do this, how do we weave into what we do the capabilities that the machines are providing, and acknowledging the fact that that is getting better and better over time. So it's a shifting landscape, and that whole thing about what was human quality versus machine quality as being a sort of good versus evil is no longer a good versus evil. It's a continuum of quality, and the machines are getting better all the time. So I think all vendors are trying to figure out how they retool their business models to handle that. It's a challenge for all of us, but that's what makes this interesting space to be in right now, because it's a space with high innovation as everybody tries to navigate that inflection point away from a dependency on purely human services.
Great answer, absolutely. So how can companies, like MotionPoint, translation vendors and LSPs out there, better optimize and engineer content to create cost efficiencies, maybe finding a balance between human and machine translation there?
Yeah, I think the key thing is context. So as we think about, any given piece of content, what quality do I need this to be at for the business? So if I'm a consumer of services from MotionPoint or anybody else, obviously the content on my home page is a higher sensitivity. It has to be more right than something that's miles down in the site map. Or it may be, certain types of content in certain industries. In fintech, it may be highly quality sensitive. In other industries, less so. So I think that awareness of context, and then being able to carry that awareness of context through the execution of the translation workflow. So we say, okay, maybe I can use the machine to take me the first mile, and then based on context, I can kind of decide, like, where do I want to go from? Do I need to do a post edit? Do I not? Is it good enough already? And if we can get smart with how we do that, and I think there's other applications in that sort of decision making around that are going to be AI and ML driven, as well as the core NMT tech. That's where we're going to start to see this next step change of cost efficiency, being able to do a given quality for a given language at a lower cost overall. And therefore being able to stretch the localization budget to enable me to go into more markets at the same cost and have a larger impact for the localization budget. So I think context awareness, is the general answer to that question.
No, I think that's great. It's almost a little bit of resource allocation. Where are you going to put, your best quality translation? Where are you going to put maybe lower quality, not good versus evil, but a little lower quality translation in other less trafficked parts of your website? Thank you very much, Steven. So that does it for Three Questions with MotionPoint. Thank you very much. Until next time.